Hello, Internet, and welcome to the bi-weekly BackdropCMS community meeting. Today is Thursday, April 13th, 2023, and we're going to be talking about localization. But first, we'll introduce those of us who are here, and then we'll send it over to our colleague Olaf, who will tell us something about the Backdrop Localization project. My name is Luke McCormick. I'm a web project manager in San Ramon, California, where it's a gorgeous day. Let me throw it to Sarvasri.
Hi, my name is Sarvasri, and I'm in Walnut Cove, North Carolina, big metropolis of 1,400 people. And I'm not a developer, but I'm interested in promoting Backdrop. I think is going to be a great solution, is a great solution now for a lot of people and a lot of sites. So I'm just here to chime in from time to time. Let's see, let's go to Martin.
I've not used localization or any multilingual services. I'm interested to see how it works. I don't know if I'll use it in the future, but I'm just interested. So go to Jen.
Hi, I am Jen Lampton, today joining from Paso Robles, California, where it's also a beautiful day. I'm looking forward to seeing Olaf's presentation. Oh, let's see. How about Martin? Oh, wait, you introduced me. I don't know. Who's left?
Just might be just me and then Olaf.
All right, just Tim then.
So why don't I go? I'm Tim Erickson. I'm St. Paul Tim. I'm in Deerwood, Minnesota. Where are you, Jen?
Paso Robles.
Passover Wolf?
Paso Robles. It's like the Pass of the Oaks or something in Spanish.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
What's it near?
What was that?
What's it near?
San Luis Obispo.
Okay.
So it's like Central California.
Yeah. So I am technically, my address is Deerwood, Minnesota. And it occurred to me when Sarvasri shared the population that I might have him beat. The official population of Deerwood is 526.
Oh, you definitely beat me.
But we live actually like 10 minutes. We're just in that township. So I'm not actually in the city of Deerwood. There's a lot more people that live in the region. So anyways, that's it. So excited to talk about localization and getting the localization server moved to Backdrop. So Olaf, I think you're last.
Okay, I'm Olaf. Olaf Grabienski from Hamburg in Germany. And yeah, I'm a Backdrop and Drupal site architect. I work as freelancer and build a lot of Backdrop sites. And I'm also care a bit for the localization server or translation server. You might hear both terms. And yeah, and today we're talking about it. So we had a little agenda on the meetings page, and I prepared some notes along the agenda, and if you're okay with it, I can start with talking about what is localization. Localization quickly is here what we talk about is translating the interface of BackdropCMS. And it's another thing, it's not the same thing as translating content of your website, but it's only the interface. Let's say, for example, for example, the login and logout button is different in every language. And that's not content, but it's the interface. So, and in a more general sense, localization is not only translating the interface, but also change the settings according to your region. For example, adjust the date formats, such things. And the first practical topic on the agenda was how do you translate your backdrop site if you have various languages. So backdrop is out of the box, comes in English. And if you, like me, build a website which is used by German editors, and you would translate the interface into German. And I can show quickly on the demo site how you would do that. So, and I will share my screen to do it.
Sounds good.
So, I hope you see my screen now.
Now we see a backdrop installations.
Good.
Yeah.
Okay, this is a backdrop demo site. And yeah, to localize your site into German, how in this example or any other language, you have to start with adding 2 modules which come with backdrop. These are the language and the locale module. So if I look for the language module, I see both of them. Or when I filter. So I enable both modules. That was quick. And now I have the option to add a language to backdrop. To do so, I go to Configuration, Regional and Language. And under Languages, I can add a language. Here's only English at the moment. And now I look for German. I add it, and it's there. And I even want it as the default language. But as you see, the interface is still in English. This is the case because yeah, the site is now configured to work with German, but we have no German translation of the interface. And to get these all these German language strings, I can go to the localization server and pick a translation, the German translation. I'll do that quickly. So I go to localize BackdropCMS.org, visit the download page, and here are a lot of language files for various languages. And I picked the newest for the German. It's 1.24. Download it. It's my desktop. And now in the demo site, I go back to regional language, user interface translation, and here's the option to import that file. Alternatively, I could also translate single strings just here. But that are a few thousand strings, so it's better to import for the start. The German file, as you may notice later, is not complete, so it's not 100% translated, but around 70 or 80%. Okay, I can choose a file now. And import. So yeah, that's it. yeah, 5,300 strings were imported. Now I have to do some more things. I have to configure the language detection because I'm
Hey,
still.
Olaf,
Yeah.
before I
Do you
go,
have a question?
I was going to ask you on this screen before under interface translation, it said 0 out of 73. And now it says, 5340 out of 5366. Is that the number of strings that were there? I was curious about the 73, if that meant anything, and now it's gone. So
This
I wanted to
ones?
ask about it.
This ones?
Yeah, well, just on the previous screen, in the percentages, it had when you first started.
I see. Yeah, here, somewhere here. You mean this one?
No, I'm sorry. I'm getting us off track. Keep going. It was on the
Okay.
screen you were on just when I started talking to you. But it's all right.
Okay.
On the screen.
Okay. So now I have, however, this one maybe.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about.
Yeah. Yeah, it says that 99% are translated, which is not correct. I think sometimes backdrops need some time to detect all strings, even all English strings. So the calculation here is not correct. However, to now really see the German interface, I have, I think, more or less last step, to configure the detection and selection of the languages, because here, this is already German, partially German. So, but however, there are various methods how you would detect or how you would decide which language will be shown to the visitor or to the user of the site. And the first one, this one is already German. It's the default language. This is always enabled. And then you have various other ways to decide which language will be shown. For example, if your internet browser has a language, then you could say it should be decided along or after what the browser says and so on. Or also the user can have a setting, but the most important is the URL, I think, or the most common. And wait a minute, I have to move here something. And to configure that, to do one thing, I remove the path prefix of the default language. This is not necessary, but it's usual. Save that. And then here. Sorry, that's technically not.
You have to clear the cache?
No, I couldn't, because of the screen sharing, arrive at the address bar of my browser, but now I'm there. The address bar of my browser is still the language path prefix of the English language. I have to clear that from the URL. And now I should, So if you look now at the admin bar, for example, you see that's all in German.
Yep.
You see that some texts are still in English, and these are the texts which were not translated. But it's mostly in German, as you see. Yeah, that's that. So let's interrupt for a moment the demo, because I think that's the basic. That were the basics, how to do it, and let's see if you have some questions. Should I stop the sharing or?
No, I think you can leave it.
Okay.
Martin asked if, in chat, if there's any plans to be able to download directly from the localization site. So to skip the step of downloading it to your computer, can we connect directly to the localization server and just import it directly?
Yeah.
I was just looking to see if there's an issue for that in the issue queue. I don't know.
Yeah, I think not so far. There's one module, but I don't know if you can skip this initial step. There's a module where I think the name is localization update. So, and this will look and at least update existing translations when they have changed or were added on the localization server. But that is a contributed module. And I don't know if it also updates the site without translations. Would be interesting. And I think it's a good idea to skip the step and yeah, maybe open an issue for it in the issue queue. I think you will see the issue queue was quite quiet in the last months and maybe also years, but that has to do that it was a Drupal or is a Drupal 7 site. And when we are on Backdrop, I think we can do a lot of more things than up to now. So I think it should be possible in a way, but maybe not so easy, but yeah, it's a good plan.
You're just point, yeah. I was just going to repeat in case it's unclear. You're currently we're using a Drupal 7 site for localization, and we're just about to port that to Backdrop, right?
Yeah, it's mostly ready. We're trying to get it on the server, so it's very exciting.
Yeah.
Okay.
So maybe one other thing you will see, you install Backdrop. You can also add a language then during the installation. I don't do that because it's a bit more complicated in my opinion. But if you ever see it, you know, you should know that it's also possible.
Do you have to manually upload the .po file then?
Yeah.
Or? Okay.
Yes. So, and this during the installation, I think I'm not comfortable to do it during the installation. It's better with a ready site, I think.
That's actually kind of an important note to make. So you think it's trickier to choose the language at install time than to install it later? That seems, I wouldn't think a user would expect that.
Yeah, it's a bit quirky. So maybe people who use Drupal 8 and 4 or 9 or 10, there you can just install, choose the language, and everything is ready. And that is because one of the big pros of Drupal 8 and 4 is that they made sorry, they improved the translation system a lot. So that works really better, but it's not so good now in Backdrop, but we can still improve it. And yeah, maybe another interesting thing. So when you do it like I have done now, so you will see that some strings, that you're missing some strings. You can, as I showed before, translate single strings. And I think now at this phase it makes sense because now I have a lot of strings, but not all of them. And you do so by, wait a minute, I move something again here. Do it by looking for the strings. So if you, for example, here's an example. Leave blank to show all strings. That's not translated into German, so I could search for that. And here I see that and can translate it now. Show quickly. So you see it works immediately. And there are also some helping modules. There's a localization update module. There's also a localization client module, which helps with this local translation of the interface. There you have a little, how do you say, little bar at the bottom of the page, and you can, yeah, it just improves the process of translating, so it shows all strings on a page, and it helps to translate things in context. Yeah, so I think that's regarding how to translate the site. I finished, I think, the demo, and if you want, I could tell something or talk about how to use the localization side.
I'd be interested in hearing. At the beginning, you mentioned you weren't talking about content for this. You were talking about the interface.
Yeah.
I'd be interested in what can you tell us about content and sort
Yeah. Yeah, content. So to use content translation, you would enable another module. I'll do that quickly. It's the content translation module. And it makes it so that at the content type configuration, so maybe I should switch to English so that you understand the interface.
Yeah.
Okay, better, I think. The content type configuration pages, you configure a content type to be to have multilingual support. And there are 3 options now, but the last option wasn't there before I enabled that module. And I can switch to it. I enable multilingual support with translation. And when I do that and go to page, like the About page, it has now a language selector. Do you see that here?
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, this is set to none at the moment because the module wasn't enabled before. So, but when I want to translate this page, I have to set it to English first. Save. And now I have a translate tab here at the top. And I add a German translation. If I had more languages, I could add all the others as well. And now I see the same form with pre-filled, the same content which was there before. And now in German, I would write here über uns und so on. You see, this has now pre-filled the German language. And that's it. That's the German page now. If I go to English, I see the English one. So, and normally I would also enable now a language switcher block and such things, but these are the details. It's such simple, but then for content, but then there are more complex things like translating the menu, taxonomy, and so on. Okay.
I just turned away for a second and I might have missed it. Did you just show if we create a custom content type and we want to translate our field names?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Is that easy to do?
Not so easy. You have to use a contributed module, the internationalization module, I18N in short, which has a lot of submodules, and one of it is for field translation.
Okay. So when I tried to do a demo yesterday, I switched, I made German the default language, and it still wasn't showing up. And I didn't know how to do what you did today. So what I did was I got the language switcher block and put that on the page. And then I was able to switch languages. Is that worth showing, or is that really like the least optimal solution? I mean, basically go ahead.
Yeah, it depends what you want. So I guess I can show that, and depends how much time we want to have for talking about the localization. So,
well, it might be enough to just say that there's a block that's provided by in the layout system that lets you switch. It isn't very pretty, but it's functional and you can theme it.
Yes.
And so if you're looking for that, you can provide, that's a way to allow users to switch back and forth.
Yeah, you would go to the layout of the page and add. So I do that quickly. Sorry. Add a block, search for the language switcher. Is now in German here, the title. Edit, save, and now it's here now. So it's not pretty because it's in the header without being styled and so on, but it works, I think. English, German, yeah. Okay. So should I talk a bit about what to do at the localization server? Okay.
Yeah. Are you going to talk about how to help to build out the files?
Also,
good.
I think there are two things. Use the localization server to get translation files. I showed that quickly, and contribute to it. 1 minute. Yeah, I think switch pages. Yeah. So to use it, it's really, as I showed before, you go to the download page or to the languages page and look for your language. Let's take German again. And then you see some files. Here's the 1.24 file, which I used before. But also, if you want to look up a certain string, you can also go to the translate tab, use the filter and look for something. For example, interface. Now you see all strings which contain the term interface, and you can look up how it's translated into German. But that's basically all. So now if you want to contribute, contributing means help to translate Backdrop in a certain language. Then you can do that, and we are looking forward that people do that. And to do that, first step is to create a user account at the page, which you'll find various links to it. For example, this one in the sidebar. So you create a new account here, and the most important thing is to mention which language you want to translate Backdrop. And then we get a notification email and can enable your account. And then we also look if you, for example, say I want to translate Backdrop into Korean. So I know isn't a Korean language group now on Backdrop, so I would create that and then let you know that you should apply for that Korean group, and then you can start to translate. And often the translation group exists. For example, let's say Spanish. We have one, and it's there are 4,700 translation, and there are also some people who are translating it. And then it could happen, and that's also an important step, that you have to coordinate with other translators. And it's good to know that the translation site or the localization site doesn't have very good tools to communicate. You can use the personal contact form, but that's not ideal in my opinion. And so the people who first used the translation server, we decided that every group should find its own tool to coordinate translations. And this could be every messenger, this could be our Zulip live chat, this could be the Backdrop forum, where we have a section about translations. And I think when we will have done the upgrade to Backdrop, we should also consider if it's possible to coordinate the work on translations on the localization site itself. Yeah, so
Olaf, at the very minimum, you could have a link to where, or a note on where the group is doing their communicating, right?
Yes.
No.
So I think some groups did that maybe. So this text is editable for the group, and they could write something there. So let's see. Let's have a look at German if I wrote something there. Yeah, however, you see this? I wrote some instructions how to get in contact and so on.
Okay.
Yeah, it depends a bit from the people who do that, but I think also it's as soon when we get to Backdrop of the translation server, there will happen a lot more than now, because we can improve faster and so on.
Right.
Yeah. So and to translate, maybe the last thing I can show, there are two options. Here I'm logged in on the same side, and I will go to German again. I can show you. I have two options to translate. The first is on this Translate tab, which we saw before. I can now enter text. So I can here put another term instead of the existing one. And or if I filter for, wait a minute, for untranslated strings. So yeah, I could now enter a translation and save that. I don't do that now. And another option, which is very interesting, primarily for groups who are starting with the language, you can import translations. And the first thing I did for some of the languages, I just imported a Drupal language file, because I think maybe around 60% of the language strings are the same as in Drupal. Maybe even 70%, I don't know. And so as a start, you can just go to the Drupal localization site, download a file of Drupal core and import it here in the Backdrop site. Yeah, so far. Are there more questions?
Yeah, have we considered just going down through and doing all of them, the language? Or have we done that already?
I'm not sure.
Like initially do the importing all of the Drupal language files.
Mm-hmm.
Have we
Yeah, we
considered
could do
doing
that. Yeah, yeah. We could do that. We didn't do it for
Okay.
all of them. But, yeah,
Is
doing that.
there anything we could do to encourage some of these languages, that our Dutch is half done? Could we, have we had any successful strategies for encouraging people to help with that?
Mm.
For example, a translation sprint. I don't know if that would help or not.
Yeah, I think yes. On the other hand, I think most important it would be to find one motivated person per language. Right. So I think that's most important. And also here, I think let's wait for the upgrade.
Right.
Not do so much before, because then we can also improve the site so people have more fun working with it and so on.
Okay.
Yeah, and let's not forget, so I could also give a quick update how the state of the localization server update or upgrade to Backdrop is. So yeah, as Jen said, we are quite near. Let's have a look here. So what we have done so far, a while ago we ported organic groups, which was very important because these translation groups are based on the organic groups module. Then a couple of days ago, RGPiano ported the localization server module and related modules. And this is, I think it's quite a beast of a module. And so it's really great that he did that. And we tested that also a bit. Some people helped testing to see if the module itself works. But we tested it not on the localization server side, but more the module itself in a vanilla Backdrop site. And the next steps are we are currently building a beta site of the localization server. And that would then be the starting point to do the real upgrade to Backdrop. And when we have done that, I think we will test again. maybe also fix some issues and maybe also already improve some things which didn't work in Drupal. And then we can do the live upgrade. And I think if you ask how you can help, I think it would be interesting to if you could help testing when we have done the first upgrade. But most importantly, I think then work with it after the live upgrade and use the issue queue of the localization site. I can post the link to it if you want, or I'll do that later. Because now I think when we make the upgrade, there are some people like me who know the site very well and also its limitations. And I think we will, or we have to start with a quite limited site in Backdrop and then improve it more and more. And I think that's the most important thing where people can contribute. Yeah, so far. If you have other ideas, we are sure open for it.
If I were from Bulgaria and I wanted to help with the Bulgarian translation, then maybe you said this already, where do I go to contact you or to volunteer?
You just register on the site.
Just go to the site and create an account.
Yeah, create an account. Yeah, it's also, wait a minute. I think we've written that. Yeah, contribution to translations. We've written that on the homepage. So this is the start, and then we will come back to the enable the account, write an email with more instructions and so on.
Okay. And I would assume if you don't get a response, if you've done this and you didn't get a response, you should just ping us in Zulip or something.
Yeah. Yeah. Also, from time to time, people come, create an account, join a group, and then they do nothing. That happens. Sometimes I write a follow-up email and so on. But I think I'm looking forward that it will get there will be more activity after the upgrade.
So this might be one of the areas, Olaf, where we can use a CVCRM to keep track of people that are interested in translations and communicate with them. So we can easily send out emails to anybody who's interested in translations to just update them on what's happening.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, are there questions from others?
I have here the Dutch overview, and I see that there are 4,370 translations, but to translate 9,800. Is that the total, or the strings are not used?
I think this should be the total.
The total.
Yeah. So I can compare with another language. Wait a minute.
Yeah, it's the same.
Okay. Yeah. Danish, for example. Yeah, that's the total.
And you had an automatic translation of the texts that are only the words, they are in the strings, or not?
An automatic translation?
Yeah. A while ago, you had German and English, and you can switch. And when you switch from one to another language, the words must be in the strings in the or not.
So did you mean, wait a minute. Did you mean here this switching?
Dus you have a text and you want to change language. The words in the text are that only the words that are in the total of strings, or that the words in general.
Is he asking about the difference between content and the user interface?
Might be, I'm not
You mean the
sure.
content, yes.
So yeah, so I think you joined the meeting a bit later, maybe. And so I talked first about the translating of the user interface. For example, this one here is part of the user interface, these tabs. And this one is the content. And you translate the content separately from the user interface.
Yeah, that understand. But the words, we have a text van, zo dat geluid hier hoor.
Yeah.
When a text has 100 words, are that the words they are translated are only the words that are used in the strings, or not? Not clear.
Didn't get it. Sorry. Maybe another person understood it better.
You have. I see here there are 4,300 words translated of a total of almost 10,000.
Yes.
When you have an automatic translation, are that all the words they are on in a language, or only the words that are used by the strings here? You understand?
I think so. You're saying, are we well, we're not translating the whole language, but I think you know that. Yes, it's just the words that are used in the user interface. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. People who are interested in doing translation work might also be interested in some more tools, and I found one very helpful. It's a so-called PO Edit. I think it's a specialized translation app, which has an optimized interface to translate strings. So let's see if I find the link for it. What to say with it?
We are getting down to the final few minutes here.
Okay. Where is it? No, I don't find it now. Okay. Sorry.
Well, I think once we get the new server up and running, we should do some outreach to folks who can help us with these translations.
Yes. Yes, for sure.
Luke,
Okay,
should we move on to talking about the next topic?
Yeah, it's time. So I stop that one. Hello again.
Yeah, I was supposed to chime in at 10 of, sorry.
You look like you're having a snack. Do people have things that they want? We have a few different topics that we on our sort of potential topics for the future. Does anybody have any new ideas or things that seem urgent in the community or that you'd really like to talk about during a community meeting? we should have our list up in front of us, Luke, of the previous ideas. Do you have it? And so the one of the requirements is finding someone who can help us facilitate the discussion. Although two of the topics, or two of my ideas, would be to either do a module showcase like we've done at Backdrop Live, where we just have people show off different modules. I think that would be a really good one to get recorded, or vice versa, showcase, invite people to come in and do 5 to 10 minute demos of the work they've been doing with Backdrop. And neither of those would require getting more than one person interested. What were some of our other ideas, Luke? We did UberCard already. What was organic groups actually one of them?
Organic groups is one of them. Hosting options, both on its own and with relation to Softaculous, was brought up. There's some thought to kind of continually poll the D7 end of life project, since that's likely to keep generating interest.
Sure.
What
Anybody?
about,
Go ahead.
yeah, what about themes again? So I thought these days there was a SEO group and someone shared a screen with SEO results, and one of the most searched or visited pages was the themes page. And compared to that, I think we still don't have enough good themes.
Sure.
The idea of showcase for the next one. If we can get a critical mass of developers, I'm going to say 3 or more, to commit to showing up and giving a demonstration of their sites. I think that would feed us with ideas for future things. Okay.
So I like your idea, Olaf, about doing a themes thing, but maybe we do this showcase first. Yeah, and then come back to the themes thing after that. Jen, I think you had agreed or volunteered to, if we didn't do that, we had a session, we were going to do a session at Backdrop Live with showcasing. Did you have a site that you would be able to showcase if we needed?
Yes.
I certainly could do one, but I would prefer to get some new folks to do it. So why don't we look for a couple new folks? And I would be on standby, like as a fill-in if we need it. So
I can do the same.
I will start a Zulip topic.
Okay.
Soliciting people interested, and
great.
We can kind of play it by ear from there.
Yeah, and maybe like we said, Jen and I could be sort of backups if we need to fill time. But if we get new people, I'd much rather see some new sites. I don't have like a fresh one to show. That's the problem. So, anyways, okay.
We'll see. And
so we're gonna do the showcase then for next time, huh?
Next week's showcase.
Good.
2 weeks. Yeah, 2 weeks of showcase.
Got it.
And how about this as a theory for picking next topics? How about at the beginning of each community meeting, we list some possible future topics, and at the end of that meeting, we take a quick straw poll and decide what it's going to be.
Okay. We give that a try next time.
Okay.
Okay, let's wrap up the video. We're still videotaping this, so let's end the video.